Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. When you need medical care in East Tennessee, Tennova is the group to trust because they're all over the place, all the way down to Cleveland, over in Jamestown, La Follette, Newport, Morristown, Jefferson City. 3 locations right here around Knoxville. You got the downtown location, Turkey Creek, Powell. Trust the team I trust. Trust the team Peyton Manning trusts, as you see them in all their spots. Tennova Healthcare. Learn more at tennova.com. All right. Quickly, guys, as everyone out there knows by now, Hugh Freeze, who was already under a major NCAA cloud, was forced to resign this week when it was revealed that he'd been calling an escort service on his cell phone and apparently from his Ole Miss office phone. They checked the phone records there. Ole Miss had been standing by him on the NCAA stuff, which a lot of people thought they were crazy to do that. They immediately cut bait when they saw this come open. And they said, look, if he hadn't resigned, we were going to fire him with cause, no settlement, no buyout, which still leaves Tennessee as the only school to fire a man with cause and give him $1 million buyout. But here's my question, your reactions, just reactions to the Hugh Freeze story and the incredible rise, all those recruits he was getting right off the bat. And then he fought back when everybody brought up the allegations. He pinned a lot of the stuff on Houston Nutt when it wasn't on Houston Nutt, which wound up biting him. Your thoughts on the meteoric rise and fall of Hugh Freeze?
I think what he did gave Ole Miss an out. I think Ole Miss probably wanted to get rid of him, and so here is a reason that now we can get rid of him, and that doesn't make us look like we know things about the NCAA investigation. So I think he set himself up to give Ole Miss an excuse.
I think that's a fair observation, at least with some of the folks down there. Yeah.
I think there's more to the story. I think you go back and look at the phone records, and what we know about is a call to 313. But I think there's more to the story. Listen, there's been guys that have survived more than this. Rick Pitino did, I think, just as bad.
Not with an NCAA investigation hanging over.
Well, no, that in addition. But I'm just saying, I think there's more to the story. I don't think this in and of itself, because he could have explained it away as a missed out. I think Ole Miss found more, and I think that's when they cut bait.
Well, they've suggested they found multiple phone calls. They said it was a pattern. So you think there's more than just calling escort services?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt insulted watching the press conference with Ross Bjork the other night, the athletic director, because 72 hours earlier, he's defending Hugh Freeze, and their defense against the NCAA was based on the character of their head coach. I agree with what was said a moment ago. I think that they mentioned the core values of the university. I don't think the actions met the core values of the contract, and it was a way out to not pay him. That's why he's no longer the coach.
I was stunned because Ole Miss had stood by him. Now, I didn't think that there would be calls to 313 escort services and stuff like that. But I'll say this: the more I listened to him, the more concerns I had about how genuine he was. Now, I was in Destin a year and a half ago or so when he made the comments that most of these are not under my watch. Most of them are under Houston Nutt's watch. He said that publicly.
Yeah.
And I read about all these off the record. Well, he said that publicly. He said it again this past year in Destin. And then when I listened to him in Birmingham at the SEC Football Media Days, I went over to a friend of mine. I said, he sounds like a phony to me. I said, I'm having trouble buying into him. And he said, no, he's genuine. I said, I don't know. I'm kind of questioning this. And so but I was still stunned about the news that came out that he'd get fired. I thought Ole Miss wanted to stand by him. I did, because they had tried to. He had done a lot of nice things. But when you pull that and you're sitting over there trying to back somebody and then you find this out, it's kind of like with Bruce. I don't think you had much of a choice. Yeah. I think Tennessee wanted to stand behind Bruce, and when a few other things added up, they said, no, we can't.
I think you probably had a split down there. I think there were people that wanted to stand by, but there were people thinking that were able to look. Everybody else is saying we're going to get killed by standing by this guy. So I think those people probably won the conversation when he did this.
And it started mounting and mounting.
Yeah. So. Weird situation, made weirder by who people are pushing as the potential Ole Miss replacement. We'll talk about Lane Kiffin and Derek Dooley later in the show. Yes, they have been pushed as possibilities for that show. Incredible. When we come back,
I mean, literally.
Yeah, incredible. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the Tennessee football depth chart, projected depth chart, and take a look at the star ratings there. What does it tell us about talent on this team's roster? Come on back.